Hi, my name is Kerry Astle-Fruit. I'm from V Dorset, a vegetarian and vegan catering business based in Poole, and I'm going to show you how to make the ultimate vegan sandwich. So the first part we're going to make is the seitan. Now, seitan is mainly based on one ingredient, which is this. This is called vital wheat gluten. It's made by washing the starches away from flour, so you just end up with the insoluble gluten, and it has quite a close to meat sort of texture, so that's what we're going to base it on. So to make the seitan, first of all, we've got 250 grams of this, which we're going to put into a large mixing bowl. We've got 125 grams of plain flour, 50 grams of dark brown soft sugar, 3 cloves of garlic finely chopped, a teaspoon of salt, and a tablespoon of black pepper. Now for the liquid, I've got some organic veg stock here. This is 250 millilitres. And to get a nice sort of umami depth of flavour to it, I also always add in a teaspoon of Marmite just to get it a bit closer to beef stock. So that's going to go into here. And then we're also going to add 2 tablespoons of vegetable oil. Now when you're working with vital wheat gluten, it is incredibly sticky, so I would always use gloves if you're going to mix it, because otherwise it's very tricky to get it off your hands. So we're going to mix this up till it's almost like a bread dough. We're going to knead it as well, so it will get some real elasticity into it. Now when it's all come together, you need to make sure it is thoroughly mixed so that all the spices are evenly distributed and you get the same consistent flavour throughout. You can also add food colouring to this if you want to give like a marbled effect like you would with pastrami. Now that's starting to feel springy, you can see when you press down on it, it springs back up. I'm just going to flour the bowl. I'm just going to leave that to rest for about 15 minutes. Okay, so now our dough has rested 15 minutes. I'm going to turn it out into this foil. I'm just going to shape it into a rough rectangle, roughly about 5-6 centimetres thick. And then now we've got that, I'm going to mix together my spice rub. So in here we've got 50 grams of dark brown soft sugar, a tablespoon of dried coriander, 2 tablespoons of smoked paprika, and a tablespoon of mustard seeds. So we just whisk that together, breaking up any lumps. This is going to give a really nice caramelisation to the outside. So now we're going to rub this all over our seitan. The spices we're using in this have been designed to sort of replicate the flavour of pastrami as much as possible. There's lots and lots of different recipes out there for seitan, so feel free to experiment. So now you've got the spice rub all nicely coated on the outside, what we need to do is wrap it really, really tightly in the foil. If you don't wrap it tightly enough, it will expand when it's cooking and it'll become almost like a bread dough, which is what we don't want. We want it to stay nice and dense and nice and tightly packed. Now this is going to go into a 180-degree oven for 45 minutes. So next we're going to make the coleslaw to go into our sandwich. Now it's a nice basic coleslaw. Instead of mayonnaise, I'm just going to use olive oil. You can get vegan mayonnaise, or you could use like a soy yogurt or a dairy-free sour cream to make this. But because we've got a cashew cream cheese in there, which is quite creamy as it is, I thought it might be nice to have a bit of a fresher coleslaw just to cut through that. So in here I've got 1 grated carrot. This is 1/4 of a red cabbage, finely sliced, about 25 grams of chopped coriander. Then we're going to put in there a big pinch of salt, some black pepper, about 1/2 teaspoon, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and then I'm going to squeeze in the juice of 1/2 lemon. Now once we've mixed this up, we just want to taste it and check the seasoning. You might want to add more lemon juice or a pinch more salt. And once that's finished, it can just be kept in the fridge until you're ready with everything else. Okay, next we're going to make our cashew cream cheese. Now this is made with 125 grams of cashew nuts. These have been soaked overnight in the fridge just in cold water. You really need to soak them for a minimum of 4 hours, but overnight's better just to get them nice and soft. So we're going to put these into a blender. It needs to be quite a high-powered blender to be able to get the smoothness you're looking for. Here we're going to add the juice of 1/2 lemon, pinch of nutritional yeast. So this is used quite a lot in vegan cooking if you want to give like a cheesy flavour, and a good pinch of salt. Now if you find that it's difficult to blend, or it's not quite blending properly at the bottom, you can add a little bit of warm water, but I'm just going to see how we get on to start with. Now this is really lovely and smooth, as you can see. Now as this is quite expensive to make, I would always do my utmost to get every drop out of it if you can. You can see it's got a nice shine to it, it's nice and smooth. And there you have it, that's how you make a cashew cream cheese. Okay, so our seitan has now been in the oven for 45 minutes, so I'm just going to take it out and remove the foil. Now obviously you want to be careful. If you've got gloves, Might be worth wearing them because it's going to be very hot. Now, as you can see, the spice rub, I started to caramelise with the sugar. Now what we want is for that to blacken on the outside. So we've removed the foil. Now we're going to put this back in for a further 30 minutes. So we've taken our seitan pastrami out of the oven and I've let it come down to room temperature, so it's taken about half an hour for it to cool down. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a broth in order to reheat our seitan slices and get them nice and moist and juicy before we put them into a sandwich. So in this saucepan I've got 500 ml of veg stock, 2 tablespoons of Dijon mustard, 50 grams of dark brown soft sugar, 2 cloves of garlic, a tablespoon of smoked paprika and 2 bay leaves. While that comes up to the boil, we're just going to start slicing our seitan. So as you can see, we've got a nice caramelised, sort of blackened exterior, which is what we're looking for because we really want to get that sort of barbecue-y taste. So now I'm going to slice it. You need a nice sharp serrated knife. We'll try and cut nice thin slices. So once this has come up to a simmer, you can just take it off the heat. And then we're going to carefully drop in our slices of seitan, just to get them all moist. And then while they sit in that broth, we're just going to build the rest of our sandwich. So I've got some really nice seeded granary bread here, nice thick slices. I'm going to spread both sides with the cashew cream cheese. Next we want to put some of our coleslaw on. It's going to give it that nice crunch. And then once our seitan has had a couple of minutes inside this broth, lift it out, place that on top of the sandwich, and you can see it really does look like sliced meat. Finally, we're going to top it off with some watercress, which gives it a really nice peppery flavour and an extra bit of crunch as well. And there we go, the ultimate vegan sandwich.